All right. We are live. So, okay, something very bad's happened. I went to stream, obviously, like 5-10 minutes ago. I was like, okay, cool, everything's going to work. Opened the streaming software. Update. Oh, fine, whatever. It's going to take a minute. Took like 30 seconds. Updated, and every single aspect of it is lagging. So, I'm surprised I'm actually still streaming right now, because the update's like crashed everything on my computer. So, the camera's like way too laggy, so I've turned the camera off. Hopefully the audio isn't too laggy. And for today's stream, I just won't have a camera, unfortunately. So, but other than that, that's negativity. We've had the market negativity. It's been Bitcoin's kind of, it's fallen a bit, as you may see on the screen. Everything's done all right. Everything's, doing its thing, I suppose. The effect on Ethereum Solana isn't, strong, and I'll get into the exact reasons why when we start the stream properly. I also don't have any of the other screens open or anything I actually need to have open on my computer. So let me do that really quickly right now. It's just typical. It is typical. It's been a pretty bad day today, actually. It's been a really bad day. So I just need to open up the chat on a certain place. And while I'm doing that, please do make sure you go to the descriptions of wherever you're watching. There are very, very useful links there. The Telegram mainly. The Telegram's probably the most important link if you're going to go to any of them. That's where we speak the most. That's where I am, and that's where you get to interact with the community and whatnot. And I think that's pretty much it about my thing. Also, I do want to keep the stream to a tight 1 hour. So unless you're an OG, I won't really be covering other coins today because I just don't have the time to do it. Because last stream was about 2 hours long because I spent quite a while doing it and there's quite a lot of coins, so I just don't have the time for it today. But I do have a bit of a leeway near the end. So, if there are coins that everyone wants, or someone, if you tip or something, or get the message to me, then I might cover it. Or obviously, if you do that, like tip, for example, then I will cover it. But I'm not just be covering anyone's coins, because, some people just come in here, it'll be their first stream, and then, people just spam coins, and I just don't have time for it. So if there's actually important coins, or people want to get the coin across to me, then I will cover those. But other than, I'm not going to spend too much time on suggestions outside of, the OGs and whatnot. So, and I think that is it. Like, I've already just said that, but I think that's pretty much it. I do actually want to go over some of the, I think it's the ARC data wallets for US government. I want to kind of look at what's going on and what I think has basically caused this kind of big old dump. Well, obviously we had a big dump, and that started for another reason, but then we continued to dump because of what the government has done. So that it's pretty crazy. It's crazy to watch. I was watching the Bitcoin price just move how it was moving. I was like, okay, I know something's going on here. This isn't just some price action bait. This isn't something we've hit and what's going on. I know exactly what's going on, and we'll get into it right now. So other than that, I want to see some percentages. Hopefully nothing's really lagging right now. So we can see Bitcoin, obviously, it's 67,421. We're recovering a bit on the 1 hour, especially 0.25% up. Pretty decent return upwards. 1.16% down in 24 hour. Now this is obviously this is moving as we are moving with the price back upwards, but it is definitely been a fall from grace. I will say that, because we fell down I think over from the top of where we were till now. It's been crazy. It's been absolutely crazy. We'll show you all percentages. Ethereum, though, again, like I said, this was kind of a Bitcoin only day today. Bitcoin was kind of the loser of, not the losers today, but this is who got affected the most. Obviously, BNB's doing fine. It's been like that for ages. Bitcoin's the only big fall of today. Oh, obviously there's probably other big falls of today, but of what we're covering today, this is the biggest fall. So you can see Ethereum 3,308. That is pretty casual, pretty normal for Ethereum. I've focused pretty much wholly on Bitcoin as of late, because we did the stream. I think it was Thursday I did the stream, or was it Friday? I can't remember exactly, but I delayed the last stream by like a day or whatever. So the gap between last stream and this stream isn't that big. So I haven't covered Ethereum since then. It's only mainly been looking at Bitcoin. So I haven't looked at these coins, but again, I can see by the price, we haven't really moved too crazy or something out of the ordinary. And you can see as well, Solana 185, good price for Solana as well, really nice price. You can see on the 7 day, the only one out of all these top ones which are actually up of anything, 2.5% up on the 7 day. We're still doing very well for Solana. And as I always say, Solana's kind of like the moody teenager of crypto. It's kind of the one which does follow, it follows the market, but it can kind of do its thing. or it will follow the market, but it'll stick by its rules and not the market's rules. But other than that, that's kind of all I want to cover for CoinMarketCap. I will, do some TA on Bitcoin. But again, I'm going to keep it light on Bitcoin because we have moved externally, and that I hate moving externally. It is the worst thing to do as someone who tries to draw TA and display it on streams and whatnot. It makes me look bad because I'll just be looking at a trade. Like today, I took a trade. It went horribly because we just absolutely dumped in Bitcoin, which was unfortunate. It was supposed to be a short time frame trade. And then it got pushed around a bit. It got bullied, if you will. So it's hard for me to do these sorts of streams because all the previous TA I've just done in the structure we've been keeping, we've been doing well at, has just been completely not invalidated, but some of it's been invalidated due to this massive dump. External from anything I could have ever read, and obviously that is something we do reiterate a lot on this channel, is the importance of external data and paying attention to the market. But when something like this happens, which isn't rumored or anything, it just happens out of the blue. It's just something you can't really you can't just look at and prepare for. It's just something which happens in the market. You got to deal with it. It's just you're the only fortunate, and the only part you can be happy about within these sorts of times is if you were someone who took a trade within that day, or someone who waited to see the market. So that's the only thing you can really do. But to be fair, we did have a CME gap. Mike was gloating to me that he got it right, that we were going to go to the CME gap. Now I didn't doubt him, but the important phrase was correlation does not mean causation. We did eventually come to the CME gap, and whether you think about it like market makers brought us down or this, that, the other. We did eventually. The result was right nonetheless. No matter how we got there, the result was right. I didn't think we weren't going to go down to that price. I just didn't think we were going to do it right now. And we still definitely had pre-dump from all what was going on today. We did have enough power to bring us up, and that's why I took the trade. I definitely was confident enough that we were going to have candles going upwards into the next kind of sell area nearing 70,600. Which was my whole this whole spiel of my trade, which obviously has fallen under. But as we are retracting, it will get better and better. But there actually is something I really interesting I do want to show about the. But let's just get to the chart. I'm yapping. Also, again, the update to the streaming software has caused my computer to lag, so the chart is a bit slow and laggy. I don't know what's happened. I'm looking at Task Manager. Nothing is overutilized. I've still got enough RAM. CPU isn't blowing up. I don't know why we're lagging. Maybe I just need to restart my computer. But nonetheless, this is the situation we're in. So you can see, obviously, we had high volume sell. High volume sell. No surprise there. Kind of leading into the whole, reason of what was going on. We had a lot of movement of money today, especially, Grayscale did move $385 million worth of Ethereum today, which was, pretty big. Obviously, we kind of had two... it's like a cascading dump. We did also, importantly, which actually also pointed out to by a member of our great OG community, we did have a ton. We had like double the amount of predicted liquidations below us and above us, which makes sense. That really does make sense. The amount we've been going up recently, and the amount we've been exceeding over the last day or two, and what we've been doing, it makes sense. We had a ton of liquidation below us, which in regards, we would have sweeps. And again, if you're not part of the OG, if I'll just talk about really quickly on the Telegram, we have obviously the main Telegram, that is the crypto warehouse, proper Telegram where people can come and it's free, and that's just our main community. And then we've got the OG one. So if you go to our YouTube, that is where we have our subscription. It's about $2, $3, but you get access to a lot of other privated videos. Our indicators, mainly, I am working on a ton of different indicators. I'm not, I am, although I've said that, I am not going to show a single one off, because within the scope of today, nothing's going to be right, okay? I just want to say that off the bat. So I'm not going to show them, but you can go to the Telegram, you can have a look at them. They've been going really well, especially channel signals. Channel signals been really good. This will probably be right at this point. Yeah, you can see channel signals been going pretty nicely on these settings. So you can come get these in the OG area. It's $3 a month, and once you get these indicators, you've got the invite to the indicator. They don't just disappear after the months, because we don't have a private version, we have a protected version. So if you come to access to Telegram and you come to get these indicators, you will have them regardless of if you're subscribed or not. But let me hide that now because we're not using that. But we do have indicators there. We do a lot here, and the most important one was I had a long talk about how I think Bitcoin's going to be moving, not only in the next couple of days or within today, but over the longer term, time frames, which I will, cover upon. but I'm not going to, fully say exactly what I said because of, it's in the OG group. That's where our OGs get the premium, proper, fast, true TA, which I've been doing. Obviously, today's been kind of a fluke, if you will, because of just what's been going on. And I will actually go on to the wallets of the US government to show you guys the movement of Bitcoin within today as well. So, like I said, I'm kind of filling up this time with talking about TA and Bitcoin and not really looking at too much TA or TA as a whole and talking about it. And I'm kind of just talking about Bitcoin and crypto because this movement, again, we're going to be having this retractment. And the important thing to remember, and looking at vector candles, Trader's Reality, shout out to that guy. I don't know if he was on who invented vector candles, but basically the premise of them, it's basically a volume-based, color-coded system for the candles. And there's importance to some of these candles, and there's importance, and they do give some hints away in the background based on volume. But again, I'm trying to make a different version of this, of volume candles, because this is a prediction based on entire volume, and it doesn't read into the estimation of buy and sell. So I will be trying to make my own version as well, which will also give away in the OG group. So if you're not in that, do make sure you're getting into that, because there are some premium indicators in that group. But these show us where the high volume movements were, because obviously you have some candles which move pretty crazy, but this is basically it reads over the volume of the movement. It reads over how much money was coming into. Well, it's not the money flow per se, but how much interaction with that within that candle there was on the the currency, in this case Bitcoin. And these are really important to look at when you're looking at where. I keep on saying the same thing, but when you're looking at where the price has been going, and what happens a lot of the time is there'll be huge sell, and it kind of follows the ideology of market makers, where they set up traps, and where there's high volume, where they push the price down, but they put like stops to basically catch people out. So that in this case this is a perfect example. There'll be a huge amount, and the hint towards this is the red candle. So if we had a normal downwards movement. Here, for example, this downwards movement. This is a big candle. You can see this candle here. We haven't filled this. Again, the price does go above and whatnot these areas. So we do eventually exceed these. But in terms of the extent at which we come back to these sort of candles. Now, the importance of this area in comparison to these candles is these are considerably high volume candles. This is high volume where there's a lot of volume coming into based on these candles. So this suggests there's some sort of either super movement or whatnot into these candles. And what normally happens is these get swapped, and we normally come back to fill these candles. You can see exactly, if I draw from this candle to across, you can see we pretty much, let me shimmy that down to the open even. You can see we come back to pretty much exactly fill these. Obviously we wicked above to test support, but within this time frame, you normally come to print within these candles and fill up into where these outstanding sells are going to be. But the importance, obviously, with these candles, which is what I'm going to get onto the TA now, is what sort of trend you're in. So we're in an uptrend. What normally happens is you'll have a load of sell, and then you normally fill it pretty much immediately. Obviously, in this case, this was when Trump was doing his thing, which makes sense. These are better examples over here. Is you normally cause a lot of sell, and then you normally come to fill it pretty much, like not immediately, but very fast. And then what happens is the buy takes a longer time to kind of fill up. So you can see here. We had the buy, but since we're in an uptrend, these are normal movements, so we didn't come back down to test these immediately. Obviously, we were in high liquidity areas up here, obviously forming this kind of straight of orders. You can see the midpoint here. We kind of formed these straight of orders where we're having a bit of difficulty, but we didn't immediately come back to test these to kind of fill up more buy orders within these outstanding candles, and obviously we have come down now. But again, correlation does not mean causation. This dump was a lot. The ode of this movement is probably more towards what happened externally, aka with what happened with the US government, which I will be showing in maybe 5 minutes, more so than normal price action. But we can still look at, and the point which I'm going to get into right now, we can still look at these volume candles and where the buys and sells are, regardless of what's going on in the market, which is really important. So you can see here, on the 15-minute anyway, we had this green area, which we never came back to test, which again, once you're in an uptrend, you don't immediately have to come back to test these candles. Again, on the higher time frames, that's a bit of a different story. You can still use these candles whether or not. But with these candles, you can see we had an outstanding amount of buys potentially in this candle. So we didn't come back to test it, but again, it's still there. And obviously something I need to mention before you go looking at these vector candles. Again, if you're interested in these, I'm not someone who made these. I am trying to make my own version because I think I want to do it a bit differently. I think there's a different way of doing this. When it looks at, instead of looking at general tick volume, you look at general predicted buy and sell. And I think that has more of an importance because volume, again, okay, this is something I do want to say. This is something quite simple, but you see this volume, these candles here. Hopefully that's on my screen. Yeah. Again, also for people getting in, I'm sorry I don't have my camera on screen. Oh, also I don't have the. Whoops, I don't have the price currently. There we go. Sorry, I don't have my camera on screen. The streaming software updated and it kind of crashed the entire thing, and my camera's awful, and I'm lagging a bit. Yeah, everything's kind of lagging a bit. You can see on the screen, it's really really laggy. I'm sorry about that, but nothing I can do for this stream. But anyway, something really important to mention is. Volume candles, they don't always have to get filled, and some of them can get filled the majority of the way. It's not something which is set in stone. Again, there's no indicator out there which will be right 100% of the time, and if there is, if someone claims that, then they're wrong. They are outright wrong, and I will pretty much stand on that unless I'm proven wrong. Fair enough, but I will stand on that until the day it changes. That there is no indicator out there which is 100% accurate. There's ways of doing TA which might be closer towards 100 than not, but I think indicators solely, which don't solely go based off this and the other, they'll never be 100% right. So, something to mention. But regardless, we had outstanding. Oh, no, that's what I was saying. I'm getting a bit lost. I'm getting a bit too excited for this. These candles, you can see high amount of volume, which kind of gets displayed in these candles. You can see if we get the pen tool out, the previous amount. I don't know why that's green. It's hard. It's not do green. It's do white. There we go. You can see previous candles, not a lot of volume in comparison to these 4 candles. So the volume candles or the vector candles, okay, cool. We've got a lot of volume in these candles. These are important. And again, I'm not saying they're not important because you can see huge sell or we had buy, obviously bouncing off resistance. That helps. Again, huge sell. We're in an uptrend. What happens? We normally come back pretty quickly to fill these. And again, you can see fill them, come back down. Obviously outstanding orders, boom, come down, type of thing. So this high amount of volume, but what it doesn't tell you is the fact that this volume, and obviously again it's in the world, and this is why I say it's quite simple. It's volume. This is the just the general amount of interaction within the candles. So within these candles, there could be super majoritively like sell or buy, or there's a 55-45% split in between buy and sell in this candle, and you will see that more with this action. So if you see a high wick and a low wick, it normally means there's a nearer equal amount of buy and sell than there is, but the indicator doesn't know that. It just knows SOL volume. All it knows is volume and the print of the candle if it's green or not. So the important part I wanted to say, just to reiterate this point, because some people might get caught out on this, is volume is just volume. At the end of the day, it is not something you can read like, oh my god, we've got so much buy coming in. This is a collection of how much volume. We could have 51-49% split buy and sell. And again, like I said, this will show within the candle. This candle is probably has majoritively sell than buy. But you don't get that value in this indicator. So I'm trying to change it, but whatever. I'm yapping. The importance I want to say, this volume candle, obviously in this case it did get filled, was outstanding. And we never came back to it. Interesting, cool. Okay, keep that in mind. These white lines is the area. This was Trump and his old spiel where he just read off a teleprompter. He didn't really know. I can't believe in that speech, that whole thing he said, he asked a audience full of crypto people at a Bitcoin conference, do you guys know what stablecoins are? I thought that was insane. I thought that was absolutely insane. But anyway, he obviously doing his thing. We dumped, we pumped, we this, that, the other. Where did we come to? We came to the candle range. Now again, this must have been, this was huge. I can't fully attribute this. This was huge. This was like a huge moment of buy and sell. This was really, really exciting for Trump to be talking at this conference. But this is something I want to point out. Our wick came down to the buy area. We filled some of this candle. And then we immediately started to come back up. We came down, obviously printed, came a bit back up, came down again towards this area, and then we carried on going. We went back up. So we came down this area, and it was basically where we stopped out at. So you can kind of think about some of these vector candles. There's different ways of thinking about them. The main way you can probably think about them is kind of areas where there's probably the most likely amount of either outstanding or existing buy or sell orders. Which is, at the end of the day, what you need to pay attention to in the market is trying to find where buy and sell orders are. Or obviously, although you might look at spot or you might not look at the futures market. The futures market is very important for liquidations. So that's another thing you try to want, however you can, make the best guess of where liquidation is going to be. Those are basically the two things you want to find out. Whether it's more abstract, whether you're doing trend lines, and that's a high abstraction way of trying to figure that out, or you're using open interest and cumulative volume delta. That is something you can use to try and estimate as best you can liquidation points. So again, I'm getting quite technical here. I'm talking a bit more about general TA than Bitcoin, because like I said, currently the situation right now is very external. And the best thing I can say right now is, since we're in an uptrend, I think we're going to fill these orders. I think we're going to fill these sell orders, or in general, these orders up here. Again, this is a low to sell. We're definitely going to have a difficulty. We're going to fill this candle, come down, maybe 67.6. Again, also, this is an order block, by the way. You can see really good order block, support here, boom, resistance at this midpoint. But anyway, this is an order block. I think we're going to flip it eventually. I do think we're going to come back up. And my main TA, which I'm going to glance over really quickly, which I gave to the OGs in the group, was these green and red areas. So this is really something important. I will glance upon very quickly. Obviously, not give too much away. I'm pretty much am with this big old green thing, but is the order? I'm not going to show the order, but the order in which we're going to fill these green and red areas. And my basically guess. And again, if you're not in the OG group, then that is where I gave this TA, and I will probably post it in the main group when this starts to kind of follow through. But I gave this kind of full on, and this isn't something which is going to happen within 8 hours or anything like that, or 12 hours. This is going to happen over a longer period of time, going into maybe even a month or two, whatever it's going to take to do this. But basically, my main post was about the direction and the way we're going to be moving through these areas. But anyway, I'm not going to get into it too much. I'll give you that. That's all I will give. I will give you this. You can make your own judgment off that. But anyway, let's go back down to some lower time frames so we can see what's really going on. Probably go to 1 hour, see what sort of volume we've got here. Again, same. The entire thing is just going to be like this. You can see, again, with the volume, just the comparison between how much volume we had and this. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But the good thing was, which I looked at as we were moving, was which time? I think it was like a lower time frame. Yeah, here we go. So this was important. This was how I knew we were seeing some sort of support. This is important. This is actually something you remember. This is if you've anyone, obviously this isn't. I won't attribute everything to this person, but this was kind of the person who got me interested in looking at this sort of stuff. And it's something really simple. You can learn it in an afternoon. But it's a woman called Anna Cooling, and she does volume price analysis. And basically, she looks for anomalies, and a lot of her stuff comes from Wyckoff. And one of his ideologies is the way there is a direct kind of comparison between effort and I feel it's probably just some sort of effort and reward. But he had a system. Wyckoff had a system based on effort and reward. And kind of one of the ideologies you look at for volume price analysis is diminishing price movement based on volume. So we can see here, huge red. Okay, let me hide the VEX candles. So you can see huge red candle, a really good amount of volume. This is a good example. A decrease, and again, this you can deduce how much buy and sell there is based on the wicks and the volume. It's something easy, but it's just something people may or may not forget. Just something to remember. But you can see, increasing volume, every single candle has more and more volume. And we can deduce in many ways, but with this way, you can see, big candle, reducing amount of movement in the price, or where we print at, but then increasing volume as we go up. So this suggests to us, obviously, if you were to read in the background, okay, we're increasing volume. This probably means to us we are either equalizing the amount of buy or sell we have, or there's between these two candles and the volume. Let's say there's the exact same amount of sell, but it means there's more buy coming in, which suggests to us that again we have more volume, but it means there's more buy. So that's why we have a smaller body, which means there was more difficulty and indecision in the market. And the ideology is whenever there's not an equal amount of reward per effort, it means there's an anomaly in the market and something's going to happen. Either some sort of thing which is going to print a continuation, or we're going to have a reversal. And you can see the candle after. We are coming up for 2 hours. We've been coming up. This is something similar, but again, this was America. So this was something else. This is America. Again, I will show it. So you can see, coming down, this is the exact same thought process. So you can see here, these two candles, a good example. This and this are very similar. These two candles are where it is. Very, very similar volume. a really big disparity in the candle body. Obviously, these have a decent amount of wicks as well. So this is probably more of an outright thing. You can see these bottom wicks are very similar, and these top wicks are pretty much identical. So you can see here we have a smaller candle as a whole, but we have pretty much identical volume, which suggests to us that there is the equilibrium of buy and sell is flattening. That basically meaning, in this case, as we're coming down, that means there's more sell than buy. But this candle suggests to us that buy is catching up with sell and that they're equalizing. And obviously, what happened right after? We had a green candle. But then, obviously, what happened here was America moving. I believe it was 2-point-something billion dollars worth of Bitcoin to a wallet. And no one, this is an unknown wallet with no money in it. This is an unknown wallet, so you don't know what's going on. There was a huge amount of fear in the market today. Huge amount of fear. So obviously, this couldn't follow through, so we came down. So my best guess was, if we didn't have this Bitcoin movement fear, we wouldn't have come down below this order block. We would have bounced off it, and we would have followed through this volume, and we would have had positive volume, and we would have bounced and came up. That's my guess of what would have happened. But unfortunately, we had America to blame for this. So all I'm going to say right now, I'm not going to say too much about TA, because again, this is something external from the market, which again, it's hard to trade it. Hard to trade when the market's doing external stuff. And again, and the impurities in crypto, because obviously there are some people out there, some Bitcoin wizards and whatnot, or crypto wizards as a whole, who say, okay, we don't want any sort of institutional investment or involvement outside of just normal people and DJs, let's say. So the more you have involvement of governments and big, I'll call them corporations, let's say, big corporations and big people, big players in the crypto game, the more you're going to have of these fear-ridden markets and fear-ridden days. If America wasn't involved in crypto, obviously crypto wouldn't be, probably it may or may not be as big, or this, that, and the other, whatever you want to think about it. But you can't not attribute the fact of this big dump, especially the lower one, to what America's done. You can't just not attribute it. And again, if we didn't have this problem, and we didn't have America doing this and the other, obviously the outlook in the long term of crypto wouldn't be as good as it is right now. However, these sorts of things, these are bound to happen when you have governments involved in crypto. It's just going to happen, and I don't know what they're doing. I was talking to Mike about this, about how we dumped and how it shouldn't have happened. And he, his example with CZ, and this is a good example actually. I didn't think of this or anything. His example was, CZ would always mention before he moved something, into like internal wallets. He'd always say, okay, beforehand, he'd say, I'm moving this amount of this, that, the other, or Bitcoin. Let's say I'm moving 10,000 Bitcoin. I don't know, whatever, or $10,000. This, that, the amount of dollars of Bitcoin. And he'd say it before it happened, so that when it happened, no one's worried about it. But in this case, the American government didn't know what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing. They're clueless. So they're gone. Okay, cool. So we've got all this Silk Road money. So what we're gonna do? We have $2.1 billion worth of Bitcoin, whatever it is. We're just gonna move it to one random wallet which has nothing in it. Do you know how worrying that is to the random person who's looking on the Explorer? That is worrying. If you see $2.1 billion coming out of the Silk Road confiscation out of nowhere. They haven't warned anybody. They just moved $2.1 billion worth of Bitcoin. It is really big. It's concerning, and obviously that's why we dumped. If they said something, we probably wouldn't have had this, and we would have bounced off this order block, and we would be continuing upwards. But I've yapped. Regardless, I do still think we're coming up. We are going to be moving up into these areas, filling these areas. After each fill, maybe a candle or two. We might come up here, filling this, coming down to order block, maybe coming up to here. You can see, we kind of had something here. Maybe coming up to this red, bouncing off order block, filling some cells. We just need to catch up. And I think, again, this was something external. I don't think the market sentiment's changed. I don't think people all of a sudden could go, oh yeah, America's just moved Bitcoin. I think we're going to 50k. Again, obviously, if you're in the OG group, you'll know my feelings on the higher time frames. But I don't think it's changed the sentiment too much. I just think this was something really unfortunate. And I think a lot of people get liquidated. But you can't excuse the fact that there were, I believe it was like, I think it was double the amount of liquidation below than above, which makes sense. We've been going up for quite a while. We've been going up really strong. So there was like double the liquidation below than above. We had the CME gap to fill. There was, a lot of potential on the downside, which obviously, whatever way you want to look at it, it happened. It got filled. It happened. You can't ignore it. So I think we generally come up. I do think I will go to the high time frame to show this. we are going to be moving up into these areas, especially this purple one. If it goes to 4 hour, I definitely think we've got, again, we're in the uptrend. We had sell down here, obviously filled it, then coming up to the next buy area, obviously filling these buy. We had sell area over here, especially this candle. You can see this area, we had sell area. What happened? We came into these areas, obviously dumped, came into this area, dumped a bit. So what happens? Obviously uptrend, a lot of buy, especially here, a lot of buy. We caught up with this buy pretty much exactly. You can see right there, caught up with the buy, came up, came up to the next sell area, obviously came down. It's kind of that process. It's a ping pong. You can't go up forever, you can't go down forever. But obviously now we filled sell. We are now coming down. There's going to be a lot of this, that, the other going on. We're going to fill this eventually. And I think we're not going to have any resistance or sell above us. We're going to fill this and continue onwards. And I think 70,800. I've got my TP at 70,600. But I think this general area is we're going to fill this. And I'm not going to give too much more away because if you're in the OG group, you'll already know what's going on. So I'm going to move on now. Actually, I will really quickly. I'll go to Arkham just to show you guys the wallet movements of the American government and seeing what's happened. Let me drink some water. Keep on forgetting my camera's not on the screen. Actually, there's something I want to ask. Do you guys prefer the camera on or camera off? Go to... Okay, it's lagging. This is laggy as hell. There we go. This is it. Is it? Let me go to the proper one. Let me just search it properly. Make sure I'm on the right one. There we go. Perfect. So, here it is. You can see it. $2 billion. $2 billion worth of movement. And what happened? Okay. So, this it's funny. It's actually really funny. So, what happened was, you can see on the screen here. I'm sorry. You know what? I didn't know. I actually didn't know my screen's really laggy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the stream. It's just super laggy. Probably say hello to everyone in chat. Tariq, Goat's here. What's going on? Let me scroll up. Job dead. What's going on? It's been a day today. It has been a day. It feels bad, man. There's another comment I want to read. It's just so laggy. I might have to change my streaming software. It's just ridiculous. Storm the Castle's great, mate. What's going on? Glad you can join the stream. Again, I'll say this to everyone, if you're just joining or you're someone who's maybe watched a stream or two and you like the content, you think it's good, obviously that's your judgment. Maybe scroll down. Obviously, as you're on the stream, this has been the best stream in the entirety of crypto. So just like you like the stream, you know where it is. And near that like button, there'll be a follow button. You might not, if you know what it means, you know what it means. If you don't know what it means, it's just a button you need to press. Otherwise, you'll get cut off the stream. So just press that button and you'll all be good. Like I said, good morning. What's going on, man? They could join. Yeah, okay. Going back to this, you can see two transactions. 3 and 2 hours ago. This was just a little thingy-majiggy over here. This was actually just I think it was probably just to cover transaction fees. But this main one was the $2 billion worth of Bitcoin movement, which we can see was sent to a wallet which has nothing going on. So you can understand. You're on the market. You're on Twitter, maybe. You're a bot. Okay. Your bot, which scans the US government, has just told you that the American government has moved $2 billion worth of Bitcoin to a wallet which has no history. Again, I'm not saying you can nuance this and go, okay, it's a new wallet. There's probably some sort of system they're doing. They're probably doing something with it. But the initial thought surely has to be something like concerning. It's like, okay, the US government's just sent $2 billion worth of Bitcoin to a new wallet. This is a bit scary. So obviously, so this happened. They sent it over again. You can see it's 88 cents right now. They sent it over, and then this wallet sent it to a different wallet here, which it currently holds the majority of the value right now. But it only received $1.33 billion. So there's something somewhere going on. And there's CoinJoin, which I think is some. I think it's a transaction aggregation type of thing. So there's some value there which has been lost, this, that, and the other. But you can see this is basically where the money resides right now. So, again, but it's not the outcome, it's the result, or it's the start of it, which was the fact that there was $2 billion worth of Bitcoin got sent, which is, something concerning. It's a bit worrying. There's no surprise there. So anyway, I'm yapping. We're about to the midpoint right now. It's just unfortunate. Actually, we're going to open up this magic line just to see what's going on. Yeah, it's starting to catch up, but it's a bit difficult. Again, really beautiful, though. the golden lines, the golden gates, I'll call these. These are the golden gates, by the way, on the magic line. If you don't know what the magic line is, it is one of our many indicators we use on the channel. Or, I use it. Some of the indicators I use for scalping, especially, channel signals. When again, I think CryptoFace has a similar kind of understanding and idea of the lower time frames. The lower time, again, this isn't set in stone. You can do what you want when you trade, but the lower time frame, it's easier to just look at indications of data on the lower time frames because we move so much faster than the higher time frames. Higher time frames are so much easier to just look solely based on price action, but you need to be quite understanding of what's going on the lower time frames. So it makes it a lot easier when you have some sort of indicator. So there's channel signals, for example. This is one of the ones we have. This is a bar sell. There's some settings. Again, if you were to take these trades, you would have bought over here. You would have sold on this candle, which is about here. So you make, nearly 3% profit. Sold on this candle. Obviously, the lowest would have been obviously 4.5. Right now, you'd be up. Let's say you did 10x on this. Obviously, you'd be up a decent proportion of value. You can see you'd be up 32% right now on Bitcoin. Obviously, whatever X you did, 25x would be a good amount of value. So, this is a good indicator. Again, they're not perfect. No indicator's perfect. But on the lower time frames, it's good for scalping. I've scalped with it many times. There is a lovely indicator. So, if you do want to check these indicators out, again, come over to the YouTube. Come go be a member. What you have to do, we don't have an automation system right now. Be an OG on the YouTube. Screenshot it. Come over to the Telegram. Send us the actual channel sponsor thing. It's like $2.99, $3. Obviously, depending where you are, that is how much money it is in your country. Obviously, again, exchange rates and whatnot. But come over, send it us in the group. We'll add you to the OG group. You'll get all the indicators forever. And you'll get RTA, and we'll have a good conversation about the charts. But anyway, I've yapped. I've actually really yapped. Let's go on to Solana. I'm not going to spend too much time. I'm going to be really quick with these. Really, really quick. Okay, so let's not be on 15 minutes because it's quite hard to see. So what's going on? We had a bull flag. Did I draw this? This is... Wait, hold on. Oh, maybe I did it on the higher time frame. Yeah, here we go. This is better. Okay, it's really laggy. So, we had bull flag, which I believe is from here to here. Probably from here, actually. So you can see bull flag, where we come to. We've actually come to the midpoint of the order blocks. Now, you know what? Solana is a really good person. Really good person. Obviously it's the moody teenager, but it does still follow rules. There's certain rules out there which it follows. The peer pressuring is a big rule teenagers may follow for some reason, wherever it may be. And this is no different in Solana. So you can see order blocks are like Solana's best friend. It's like telling a teenager like it's really cool to do these drugs. That is what the order block is for Solana. So order blocks 9 times out of 10 they're going to work for Solana. Really nice order blocks. You see here order block, boom, order block here, order blocks here, all these order blocks. Again, my charts are the messiest charts in crypto. You know what? I might try and advertise that actually. There are some messy charts out there for some streamers. But I want to see if there was a challenge out there in crypto for the messiest chart. I think I'd win because these charts do get messy. But again, you know what? These are two things that I always want to say and try and say is if you do TA and you win more than you lose, or you're more profitable, who can tell you what? I can't tell you anything to change your TA. If you're profitable and you're happy with that, what's the point of going against anybody? But the second thing is, no matter how messy or clean your charts are, if you can read them and you can understand them and you can predict the price as best you can, who cares? But anyway, let's stop being motivational. So what happened? So we can see bull flag, boom, came up to, it was supposed to come to about $195. The top we reached was $194, so about a dollar away. But again, order block. Whenever I have these chart patterns, these are smaller order blocks, probably lower time frame ones, something which aren't as strong. This order block, I believe it's like a weekly or daily order block, something really, really big. So this is obviously going to get respected. Really, really, really big strength. So the lower time frame order block, the weaker it's going to be. Again, that's the general sentiment on most things. Again, chart patterns, whatever. It's hard, you can't take a 5-minute chart pattern into the 4-hour, but you can take a 4-hour chart pattern into the 5-minute type thing. We bounced off the midpoint, no surprise there. Really strong order block. But what happened was we had a lower order block within this range down here. How's this? Oh, here it is. Yeah, this order block here. So this is, I think this is, what time frame is this? Is this an 8-hour? What time frame is this order block? Is it 1 hour? Well, I'm going to find this. Again, going back to... Whoops, I just moved. Should probably lock these order blocks because I keep on moving them. The phone's the worst. Like, you'll draw something on the phone, you'll click the screen once, and you'll just, like, move the entire thing. All right, so I don't know. There's some order block somewhere. I don't know where this goes. Where am I? I'm really clueless right now. I don't know where this order block is. All right, well, it's somewhere. It's, like, over here, maybe, I think, or okay, it doesn't matter. It actually really doesn't matter. So, the order block, I don't know what time frame, but all I know, it's a decently big thing. And it's a good respect. Yeah, give me 1 Bitcoin. Haha, Vegas. I know. It's ridiculous, man. It is absolutely... No one is going to give you 1 Bitcoin. Just because it's gone down a couple $1,000, it's not going to go down. It's not going to go down, bro. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, you know what? This goes out to all the Binance spammers, right? You're literally a waste of internet. Like, you're wasting your phone battery or your computer. You're wasting electricity doing this, all right? Because no one's giving you 1 Bitcoin, all right? I don't know who you think these traders are. You know, there are some traders out there who made a lot of money, but I don't think CryptoFace or any of the other rich traders there are. No one's gonna give you 1 Bitcoin, man. There's no. You need to give me $70,000 worth of value for me to give you a Bitcoin. That's how it's gonna work. If in any circumstance where I'd give you, a Bitcoin, which is just stupid. Anyway, I'm going back to the charts. I'm yapping. So you can see order block was here, wherever it was. This, it's really trippy, this midline, but it is there. We respected the midline. You can see resistance. We can see how many candle and wicks. You can see it's mainly at the midpoints. Again, there's a lot of time. Each order block, it's like its own little fish. A fish in your fish tank. They're all the same. It's all just fish. They're all just fish at the end of the day, Some are bigger, some are smaller, but that's the point. Some are bigger, some are smaller. Some are green, some are blue. Some do different things. Some eat moss off glass. Some just, float around. But at the end of the day, they're all fish at the end of the day. So again, coming back to this, order blocks, they're like fish or whatever. They're all, it's all the same. It's all fish, but they interact with the important points very differently sometimes. So sometimes some order blocks, the outer rims of the order blocks, like the top end and the bottom end, are really important areas. However, the main one you normally look at is the midpoint, and again, in Solana's case, the midpoint is the most important one normally, but sometimes they don't really respect it fully, which is fine. Nothing's ever going to follow something 100% of the time. But you can see, anyway, going back to this point, you can see, for example, this bottom line, really well respected. Using support, you can see we printed out at the bottom of this one, but decent amount of support at the midpoint anyway. You can see this is the main order block we're at now. Really high respecting of the top line. But the main thing is the midpoint in this case. You can see, obviously, we wicked above, and then we didn't really come back to test it properly, and then we wicked down. Obviously, bouncing near on the range of the bottom. Obviously, coming back up to having difficulty at the midline, wicking up, midline test, bang, midline test again. So, good respecting of the midline of the order block, which is a good sign. It normally means... all blocks and breaker blocks, if you've never looked at them before, I'm not going to yap too much. We've got like 15-20 minutes left because I don't want to spend a crazy amount of time additional on this stream because I've got some things to do externally. But the midpoint is normally where you want to look at. So you can see right now we're respecting to use the top line. So you can see, obviously, the majority of these wicks, regardless where they are lying below this top line. So the top line is clearly some sort of resistance. However, we've flipped that now. Very, very good. We've flipped it, and now we're trying to use it as support. So if we can do that, I could see a little bit of a bounce and then a continuation onto the top line we need to come to for the bull flag. Now, if we open up vector candles, just see where sort of sell is. This is a perfect example. Again, do you know what? I could turn off vector candles forever, and I can just go a random point in history or time or whenever, and I'll just click it, and I'll go, okay, I already know immediately we're going to be at some sort of sell point. What's happened? Well, okay, we had an order block at this sell point anyway, which was obviously good. You can see, really, really great. I didn't even know I had this order block, to be fair. All block there, cool, good respect. We had good amount of candle here of sell. We've touched into it a tiny bit, and we are now selling. But again, the main point up here is about $200 mark. So if we shimmy along, and we come back to here, you can see this must be a really, really strong amount of sell. You can see we came to it pretty much exactly right here. And we've come right down. And again, what helps with this is this order block. That obviously is something very important. Also, some, again, another indicator of the many indicators we have. We've got market cipher B reimagined. We've got market cipher A reimagined. We've got simple significance, which is a dynamic support and resistance drawing indicator, which is lovely. I use it sometimes. Lower time. You know what? You could spend $3 on our OG, come to the Telegram, get every single indicator from the Telegram, and scalp in the same day. You could have never traded before. Come to the Telegram, turn these indicators on, do this and the other, get simple significance and channel signals, go on the lower time frames, and if you know what you're doing slightly, go on the higher time frames, see what the bias is, but go on the lower time frames, and you can scalp, and you will win. You will be profitable. Okay, actually no, I'm not. No, wait. I'm not saying that. It's never going to be right 100% of the time, but I have done my due diligence on these indicators. These indicators I give away. These aren't things I just don't use. I don't make like set and forget. I do have them off because it does make the chart mess. Okay, let's say I had every single indicator on. Like, what am I looking at? Like, this is worse than anything. Like, I'm not going to do this, obviously. I turn them on and off because I need to use them occasionally. Obviously, you can see good red dot on here. Money flow coming down. Obviously, money flow is the most important part to really look at. It just tells you the trend. But, obviously, this is why I don't have all my indicators on. It is just an absolute mess. Let me hide, like, all of this right now. Also, this didn't appear for some reason. Okay, so I'm not going to fix that right now because that's run time error. But let me hide these really quickly because I'm not using them. But still, my point is, simple significance is a great indicator. You can go to low time frames and you'll immediately get good tested support and resistance zones. But again, that's out of the advertisement. All of it for $3, by the way. Just go into YouTube. But anyway, going over here, zooming back in, you can see resistance off the order block and this sell area for the vector candles. We're in an uptrend, so we're majoritively going to be respecting buy areas and going up in buy areas more so than sell areas. So you can see big buy, really probably a lot of outstanding buy orders. There's going to be a lot of buy orders here which are going to be filled once you come back down. Came to sell, hit some sell orders, came down. We have filled this candle, obviously a bit lower. You can see the majority of this candle has already been filled by these three candles. So we've got a lot of buy on our hands, but a lot of buy volume. Now we're going to start to come up again. Obviously happened here, boom, formed candle, wick down, carried on. Obviously in this scenario, again, this is something to bear in mind. And this is why I want to make my own version of the vector candles, because it doesn't take into account the potential estimation of buy and sell on some of the candles. So some candles may or not be as good. So there's the occasional time on vector candles where the volume and the potential buy and sell orders, or the buy orders in this case, in these candles aren't enough to keep the price from immediately, or to cause the price to immediately start to go back upwards. So in this case, you can see we filled these two candles. This blue means buy. So we had a buy candle. Okay, I'll just unhide this. So you can see we filled these two candles. Tried to buy, but again came back to resistance. So we didn't have enough buy to continue onwards. So we came down again, filled this next buy. Filled this buy here, you can see. Came upwards, came to resistance again. Big sell. But the main majority one was this candle. This was a huge candle. We filled it and had enough buy volume to continue onwards, obviously filling this sell volume as we proceeded. So I think this is going to be a similar case. I think this candle's big enough, with enough volume in it to continue us as we fill it. So I think we're going to fill it and continue onwards. Similar with the market as a whole, I think Bitcoin, as we've seen already, I think Bitcoin has... it's been offset more so than it's been sold or bought based on price action. So I do think we're going to be going back up to the higher areas which we've already seen. Again, if you're in the OG group, then you'll know what I think of the general Bitcoin market. But anyway, whatever. That's the issue around. So we have this going on. I think we're going to bounce. I think we're going to continue onwards. I definitely think we're going to see $196 and completely finalize all the way up here to this area. And we've seen this. We're going to eventually fill the sell. We might have huge volume on the way up. Fill some more sell. Get some more buy orders, and then I think eventually we're going to fill this. This huge sell area, I've already talked about this on previous streams, is very similar to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has and Ethereum. A lot of coins have the same buy and sell areas, which makes sense. Obviously, the market as a whole is very uniform in some cases, and especially with these high volume buy and sell areas. Bitcoin has a very similar area. It's got 70,800 at the top, which, fully enough, is the exact same price where we bounce off of our bull flag. And there's potential more buy on the higher time frames, or more sell, sorry, on the higher time frames at 71,500. And again, if you're in the OG group, you will. I literally sent like 7 paragraphs. I literally did a whole thesis on where I think Bitcoin's going based on potential buy and sell orders and obviously potential liquidations within or liquidity within the market. So again, if you want to read all that and want to get the huge TA before it happens, go to that OG group. What I normally do if I think I'm quite confident in a trade, I'll send it to the general group, either when it's happening or about to happen, or when it's happened already. I normally give an update because again, there has to be some incentive to come to the OG group. And again, for $3, obviously depending where you are, for $3 to get all the indicators and the future indicators I plan to do, and I'm doing the link to. I'm going to make my own liquidation map because again, the formula to estimate liquidations isn't very hard. I'm going to make my own with additionals on it because again, a lot of the time, some of these liquidations, they just make the liquidation map and that's that, and that's the whole spiel. But I want to add a bit more, so we are gonna. This is really long term, by the way. We do plan as Crypto Warehouse to make our own liquidation map, which for some coins will be free, and again for every coin I plan to make part of the OG group. I've made a start on it, but again I'm very busy with a lot of things I'm doing. But I do plan to make our own liquidation heat map where we can add our own features. So there's that in the future. So all that for $3 as of right now. To get all that, I think it's a pretty good deal. So anyway, I've yapped so much. Okay, so that's what I think for Solana. I do think we eventually reach 196, but on the long term, we either fill this cell, and okay, let me go to like the higher time frame. Actually no, let me keep on the 4 hour. We either fill this. I don't think we come down to 160, whatever the hell. But I think we come up to here, probably seeing. Whoops, that's the wrong place. Here we go. I don't think we come down to here. I don't believe so. Again, Solana is very different from many other places. But again, we do have these sell areas which we're going to fill, and we're probably going to see. And again, interesting thing here is the midpoint of this order block is within these sell areas. So we're going to probably see 195 and see this area, probably fill this sell, maybe a bit of come down, but I expect as we come up to probably produce more high volume candles for more buy, and I do think eventually we're going to exceed and reach 200. And I think when we reach the Bitcoin 70,800 in that sort of area, I do think we're going to expect to see $200. This volume, this high sell area, this is basically the Solana equivalent to the 7,800 towards 71,500 sell area we have on Bitcoin. And again, I've reiterated about 8 times. If you're in the OG group, you'll know exactly what I think of all those areas. So again, I'm going to do some really quick TA on Ethereum, and I will look at the other 2 coins. So I'm probably going to do an hour and 10 minutes. I'm not going to spend too much time. I do want to go pretty fast on this because I've been yapping. I'm a serial yapper at the end of the day. You guys will know. Okay, so what have we done? Again, obviously big dump. That happened in most things. What happened? Dumped, produced high volume, potential sell area candle. What happened? We filled it here. You can see it. Look. This is perfect. They happen a lot of the time. We filled the top by this candle. Obviously, if you want to low time frames, it's easier. We formed this area, found a support, came up, filled this candle, came down again. Obviously, found some other arbitrary part of support. Probably something like this area here. You can see this is outstanding orders. Filled this area. You can see here. Continued onwards. And again, if you're someone who does ICT or smart money concepts, whatever the hell that sort of ideology is, they have fair value gaps, which is a similar process. My problem with fair value gaps is, and I actually talked about this with Mike, is problem I have with fair value gaps. And again, if there's a seasoned ICT or smart money concept, whatever the hell it's called, trader in the chat who wants to talk to me about this, because again, I'm not someone who's educated. I could be yapping, but my problem with them is that it's not backed up by anything. And again, this. Some TA is abstracted, some TA uses data, some indicators use data, some are abstracted by trend lines and whatnot. But with fair value gaps, you kind of just draw a gap and then you expect it to fill. But then some gaps can be an inverse fair value gap where you flip it. So you have to wait on the dot for the fair value gap to see if you respect it or not. I don't like that. I don't like that too much. But with this scenario, pretty much identical to the ideology of fair value gaps. Okay, not completely identical, but it's very, very similar. It's the same concept. Fair value gaps are areas where you have an extreme amount of buy or sell, an overextended amount of buy or sell, which cause the price to rapidly move, where there may still be outstanding orders to fill. So similar. So again, we had this area which didn't, which is again, you can see a decently high volume anyway. Filled it, continued onwards. Obviously finding resistance at this order block. Formed a buy area candle as we were moving. Obviously came back down to fill it pretty much here, and now we are coming back upwards. Obviously on lower time frames it probably looks even better. And again, also, if you're on the higher time frames like the 4 hour with vector candles, and you think, okay, why do we bounce here? Obviously not solely attributed to this. Or here, why do we bounce here? What's going on? Why are we doing this? Go to the lower time frames. These are faster with the volume to see the you can see here, it's perfect. This entire block of potential buys, you can see the bottom of it is right here. And then what do? We perform sell, so we're probably going to come up to this sell, and then maybe have a movement downwards. We could potentially come to 3,200 and whatever. We can come to here, and then fill this buy, coming up to the next sell area, which is 3,400. So we could move. You know, we've already had sell, which we didn't fill it all up with. Filled it, exceeded it with the amount of volume. Again, you can see here, this is perfect. We had a huge amount of sell. So what did we do? We've slowly filled up all the sell. Again, when there's too much sell, you can't fill the entire thing for the market to not react to it. So again, we had some outstanding. So again, outstanding came down eventually, and it's something you do have to wait on, which is unfortunate. And then we came down to the next order, or the next area where there was buy, and now we're coming up. So what could happen is, we've already had this movement, probably filling some of this sell, coming down to this buy, probably coming up. Maybe this isn't enough. We could come down all the way to 3,200, but I think eventually we come back up to 3,400 and fill this. I don't think this is going to be enough, so I think we could eventually come to this breaker block we have. So I think 3,460 could be a good high area for Ethereum. Maybe coming into, you know, maybe later Tuesday time. I think could be a good resistance area for Ethereum. But again, this what I've basically said for Ethereum Solana or Bitcoin and Solana. Take that on board with Ethereum as well, because the entire market is doing something very, very similar. So obviously, if you're in the OG group, and you've already read my prediction on Bitcoin, just take that over to these. So if you're someone who's read those paragraphs and you've seen the screenshots I've sent and you've seen my areas and my price areas, what I'd advise, I'd probably advise you to ask me, because I'm not going to send 20 charts just in case someone wants them. If someone wants the chart, I will send it. But take what I've said about Bitcoin and just use that as well, because for the other coins, I think the exact same thing is going to happen. I think it's pretty much identical. But we've covered the main coins so far. So there was 2 coins, I believe, from Drop Dead. Brilliant comments. Crypto Warehouse liquidation map would be amazing. I do plan to. Again, some source here. I've done my research into it. The main calculation of liquidations, if you want to look into it, and you can actually get these indicators. You can go on TradingView. This is some free source here. You can go on TradingView. This is okay. Actually, I'm going to talk about this. Actually, good point. You know, a lot of the streams I just look at TA. I enjoy trying to show you guys things, like interesting things, and maybe some things you maybe not seen before. You know, because that's my job as a streamer, is to show you guys charts, show you guys my method. And just show you guys, how I may make other things, and I offset all your guys' time by spending time myself and then spreading it out. But anyway, I'm yapping. So there's something called open interest, which is the cumulative amount of contracts open. This is for futures, so you can't do this on spot markets, but there are some indicators which can go based off the perpetuals. So you have to be on the perpetual charts to find this data, otherwise it's not going to show you. But you can search up something called open interest, and it's already favorited. This is the cumulative. I might be wrong here. If someone's wrong, do correct me. I believe the definition is basically it's the cumulative amount of futures contracts there are for that coin. So obviously for Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever coin there is, you will find the open interest. And this obviously, let's say the open interest is going up. This is, it doesn't expose to you the amount of sell and buy orders or the amount of sell and buy contracts that are coming in, because whenever there's a sell, there's a market maker buy. You can read into it. Binance has a good article about it, about how the market maker order system works, because there has to be an equal and opposite order for your order to be placed. So with open interest, it is, let's say it's going up. That means the amount of contracts being opened are going up, or no, the amount of contracts there are going up, which means people are placing longs or shorts. You couple that data with something called cumulative volume delta. And what does that mean? That is, so the cumulative volume is the entirety of the volume. That's just normal volume, right? But this, basically, this uses estimates for the amount of buy and sell in a specific scenario. I might be a bit wrong on this. But basically, okay, I'll just tell you what it shows you. It tells you if we're if we're positive or negative in the volume as a whole. It'll estimate buy and sell, and it'll tell you if you're... So if we have cumulative volume delta going down, so the delta is the amount of change we have. So if we're continuing going down and we have a negative volume, so we have a consistent amount of sell, it basically means to us, if we've got open interest going up and cumulative volume delta going down, you can basically deduce from that sort of data where, like, what sort of orders are being opened, if it's sell or buy. So that tells us, okay, there's more shorts being opened, which then you can use that data to then basically what you do, you estimate the leverage. So you do like 25x, 50x, 100x, right? And you place the liquidation points at those prices. And based on the open interest and volume, you can see, okay, more shorts are being opened. So put these liquidations or potential stop losses at the high point liquidations. And that's how they do it. That is the source right there. That's the source. So you can find out liquidations potentially within TradingView. And there's indicators which do it. But obviously I'm going to make my own heat map for it. So that is some premium source right there of how to potentially estimate where liquidations may be for crypto or any market if it's got the open interest data and CVD data. You can estimate yourself. You can do the calculations, on the calculator, 25x times this percentage. So you go, okay, cool. So you've got 1%, or you have to do 0.25%. Okay, move up 0.25%. That's where liquidation is going to be, and that's how you find out where the new liquidation is going to be. I have yapped so much. I'm very sorry. We're about an hour and 3 minutes in, so I'm going to go really fast right now. Ethereum, same as everything else. Let's go down. Bouncing, open up vector candles, have a quick look. You can see, I've already talked about it, haven't I? We go up, we go down, we fill the sell, we fill some buy, either at 3,200 or this area. If we go to the 4 hours to see what's going on. We've already filled this though, to be fair, so we've got to the 30 minute. Yeah, I think we either fill 3,240 or 3,200 exactly. We fill this sort of area. We fill this sell. I think we've come to fill this sell. Maybe not all of it. Maybe at 3,350. We come down to the buy. We exceed this sell. And I think we eventually, within maybe middle of Tuesday to the end, or whenever it's going to be, within the next day, let's say, we come towards this order block. As Bitcoin retraces, as the market retraces, I think Ethereum's going to be doing the same. But I think within the smaller movements, we're going to be having we're moving up into this sell area. Sell orders, come down, buy, boom, sell. All right, I'm going to cover these two coins, which Drop Dead said near the start, and then I'm going to be ending the stream. All right, where are these? Okay, actually, Drop Dead, if you're here, can you send me the coins again? Because I'm scrolling through the chat, and I don't know where they are. Wait, is my screen really laggy? It is. Jesus. Hopefully, I'm not laggy. I might be, I don't know. Oh, it's Brett and Ponk. Alright. See what Brett's doing. Actually, I do want to do it fresh because we had that range on that long, and it's just like the market's just not been doing the great. AKA, we've been moving externally, which has probably broken out of all those fib levels. But anyway, I'm gonna go to the 4 hour really quickly. I'll do some like speed run TA right here. So got that order. We've got that area here. We might have this as another order block. This is a crap hole. This is a crap drawing. There you go. We've got order block there. You see resistance, boom, support. This is a good area. You can see the response of this order block is very nice, actually. You can see, especially on the buy side, come down to it, really move up. Come down to it, really move up. So this is a good area at about basically 12%. Really, really good area. I can say hello. Please some people say hello as well. So hello to everybody. And again, to reiterate, I've been given a good amount of source here, especially that open interest CVD stuff. Click that. That is some source right there. So if you do want to make your own strategy with that data, you could potentially estimate liquidations and potentially estimate where the market wants to bring us to. So there's that. But anyway, I'm still doing this chart. So resistance here, we've already used it. Support here, good resistance and support. Open up the VEX candles to see what's going on. You can see this is a good area. Let me go to the 1 hour to see what's going on properly. Actually, let us mark out the the low and the high of these. Actually, no, the high is going to be here anyway, so let's just do that. There we go. So let me just bring these areas, just so we know exactly where these latest areas are going to be. And let's just look at it like daily just and see like long term. Or here actually. There we go. So this is actually where the order block is. So I'm not going to draw this. I'll draw this though. So it's between the order block and here. So we've got potential order areas. So let's go on to lower time frame just to see what's going on. Okay, so you can see what's going on. So these candles, you can see we went from the 4 hour to the 30 minute. So you can see the 4 hour candle was this whole thing, but it's been split up on each 30 minutes. So what's happened? We filled one half of the candle, and now we've bounced. So we had enough buy area, and now we're starting to come up a bit. The top of this is the bottom of the sell range. So we could potentially come up to 1380. You can see we're kind of having a bit of difficulty here. Potentially attributed to maybe a lower time frame thing. Yeah, you can see here. Sell came down, filled it a bit more, coming down a bit, filled it a bit more. So potentially enough sell to bring us down a bit to this bottom range. So we could have a bit of a, we've kind of come down, hovered a bit. We might come down again to fill the rest of this candle at 132.40, and then we could basically have then a double bottom, which would suggest we should come up towards the. You can see. You have to have consecutive down movement for the double bottom. So the consecutive down movement is this entire thing here. So you can see we could potentially have something like a double bottom, which would then, in theory, should bring us up to this area. So looking at this area, you can see if we hide the candles, you can see a high volume area coming up to finish off this candle, basically, as we saw with the 4 hour time frame. This high candle obviously is now been split up on the 30 minutes, coming up to 1430. So I think you could trade mini movements and movements within the lower time frames, but I think the general movement, as the market retracts anyway, comes up to these areas. And again, this area is order block area, which we've already bounced off, nearing anyway. I don't know if we have any lower time frame order blocks. Have a quick look at the volume just to see what's going on. And if we've got any, yeah, this is good. Again, same ideology, volume price analysis, going back to the same idea. The size of the candles and the amount of volume. I mean, it's quite easy to deduce. Volume just shows you, entire tick interaction within that candle. You can see if you've got pretty much equal candles, or if not, this one's a bit smaller actually, and then a decently big. It's a decently big movement upwards in volume suggests to us more buy is coming in. If it's not at equilibrium, it probably means that there's more buy coming in to suggest. And again, what happens to candle after? Same as we saw with the other two charts. What happens the time after? We come immediately back up. So this is very, very good. Very, very good here. Obviously, this is normal. Again, going back to the Wyckoff ideology, with that whole effort reward type thing, that it applies to the volume pretty exactly. You can see here. I mean, this is the exact same thing. Again, some of it is kind of self-explanatory. You can see with these high wicks, there's a bit of indecision. But you can see this is the same ideology. Big candles, volume coming up. But then you can see these volumes aren't too dissimilar. But the candle body and the amount we've actually moved within that candle is drastically different, suggesting to us there's probably a high amount of either less buy coming in, more sell coming in, whatever this, that, the other. Obviously, candle after what happens, we retrace. But anyway, I think we might have something like this going on. Again, we've already looked at the vet candles. We've looked at where the buy and sell is. I think we do move up towards here, again, as the market retracts. So the last one was Ponk. I'm actually going to, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself to do 30 seconds. Because Mike is currently telling me off for spending, going a bit over. Let's just go onto a chart and go really quickly. All right, boom. See what sort of areas we've got. Again, very similar areas. Actually quite similar to Ponk. So going back to here, we've got this range of potentiality, if you will. I think that one below us is a bit too low. So if we now go on to like lower and lower, we can see where the actual size. You can see, obviously, formed the cell, immediately filled it. Has some outstanding, but it doesn't really matter. Because the bottom of range was here, and you can see we filled this area within here, coming down, and you can see we filled this candle. So we're coming up, filling this. So we're probably going to eventually fill, maybe not the rest of this actually, But we've basically filled enough of this candle. You can see enough buy, probably now coming up to the next area at about 58.6 towards 50 or 60 even now, where the top of this range is on the 30-minute. So similar, like I said with Brett. Sorry, if you go based on the idea of the double bottom, this is the start of the proper downwards movement. Obviously, you can see downwards movement difficulty. Boom. This brings us back up right where this range is, going back onto the... Okay, well, the high time frame is not very useful. But I think we finish up with this over here. Finish off at 60. So similar with... Again, this is all more confident with the fact that we have the market in general moving up. And again, each coin to their own or whatever. But the movement is very similar to Brett, where we have this sort of movement. So I do think I'd rather take the trade on the upwards instead of the downwards and the upwards. So, you know, let's just say you longed right now. It would be something like this here, coming up towards here, I think. Obviously, maybe not exactly. It could come to maybe the middle. So we obviously want to be safe than sorry. Higher time frame is going to matter a bit more. Actually, to be fair, it's not really there. So you could maybe put it to here to be safe. About 3.3% move up. I'm ending the stream. I'm ending the stream right now, though, because I do need to end. But you get to see the bottom range does fill in pretty nicely with that. And again, this also lines up with the top end of an order block. You can see here, top end of an engulfing order block, actually, I should probably say. And we've also formed our own little engulfing order block on the support side of things as well, which we have already used as support here, you can see. Probably coming down to use it as support, so maybe entering on the order block could be something potential. I don't think we have to necessarily fill this. You can see the amount we've already filled, you can see before we've gone up, we've filled all this already on the way down. So I think that's enough potential buy as we come up. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm ending the stream now. Thank you so much for watching. I do apologise again. I don't have the camera on the screen. Maybe you guys prefer the camera not to be on the screen, which obviously, you know, I could probably turn it off. But you can see it is a bit laggy. Hopefully the stream isn't laggy, but you can see my cursor is quite laggy actually. Let me just see. Yeah, it's laggy. Hopefully my voice isn't laggy. That's the most important part. I'm gonna get this all sorted for the next stream. It is Monday. I'll probably stream Wednesday or Thursday time. Maybe Thursday, start of the month, whatever. But I will get it fixed. Thank you all so much for watching. And again, I've kind of tried to push a bit more about the OG group and becoming an OG on YouTube, because I do think not only obviously does it support channel and help us grow, but I do also think it is a good amount of value for what you're charging or what we're charging and what you're paying. I mean, I do think it's good value. And again, what we're going to be adding to the future, I do think is it is definitely well worth the pay. So, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Let me end off on the Bitcoin screen just to keep it, you know, going. Yeah, look at that, we're bouncing off that anyway. It's got like it's 4 hour. There we go. That's good. 1 hour. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will see you Wednesday, Thursday time, whenever it's going to be. Obviously, Mike's in the mornings. Go watch down the brilliant streams. Obviously, Mike was right today. Yeah, he's right today, but will he be right tomorrow is the question. And, you know, was I right today? Or will I be right tomorrow? Oh, again, America doesn't help, but that shouldn't get you down. And, you know, if you're someone who maybe longed or shorted or traded or got liquidated by any of these sorts of movements, up or down, on news, again, news is very hard to trade, but something like this, you just can't see it. You can't see the sorts of things in the market because, you know, there's no like crystal ball, there's no time machine which can tell you that the amount of fear which is going to come into the market for Bitcoin as America moves $2 billion worth of Bitcoin to a random wallet, which is empty. It is, you know, it is scary. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I am yapping. It is the Africa again. I have to summarize the stream. You know, I can't just end it off on nothing. I've got to, you know, whatnot. But anyway, there's an absolute bunch of spam filling up the chat. So I'm gonna end that. I'll never, you know what, I'll never leave the mic, you know, because I spew so much greatness. I shall never leave the mic. Anyway, yeah, I'm done. Nah, I'm in the stream. Thank you. Goodbye.